All right, let's move on to 4A Sectional 19. Northridge is going to travel to Angola, where Northwood, #1 in the state, heads to East Noble at 9-1. Let's talk about that Northwood-East Noble game. These are two offenses that can score. Northwood has been one of the favorites in 4A all season long. What can East Noble do to win this game, make it a ball game, and give themselves a shot in the fourth quarter?
I think some big plays out of the defense is going to be key in this one. I mean, Northwood has been able to do what they've wanted to do offensively in a lot of games, and I think that's the key for East Noble. Get a big stop, turnover, get some momentum early, because I think as we've seen when games in Kendallville in the postseason, if East Noble can get off to a good start, it makes things really difficult for the opponent.
Yeah, Northwood beat Plymouth last week 40-7. Or East Noble rather played Plymouth in week 1. It was a 16-6 win.
Yeah.
So if you score compare, there's a big difference there. But both teams are a lot different than what we saw, at least as far as East Noble goes, in week 1 of the season, while they were trying to break in some new guys. If you're East Noble, what does Luke Amstutz really stress in practice, aside from a good start early on those defensive stops?
I think it's the little things, because we can go all-encompassing and said running game, passing game, but to win this sectional, to get out of this thing and to potentially win a regional, it's the little things it's going to come down to. Northwood is so good that you have a little margin for error. Angola is so good you have little margin for error. Northridge is not a team to take lightly at all. So I think it's those little things, making the necessary plays here and there in order to win a good game.
And if you're Angola, how good do you feel about this week? Because last week you go to Culver, not an easy place to play. They really stuck it to them, 27-7 for the second year in a row. You knew Culver was going to be thinking, hey, man, they knocked us out of the playoffs last season.
Yeah.
That was a game that Culver was going to be geared up for, and Angola fairly easily dominated that game.
That was a game where all throughout Friday on social media, you were hearing from Culver people and say, we've had this game circled, we've wanted this game, we can't wait after losing, having that blocked extra point in overtime a year ago to lose. And Angola just goes there and sticks it to them and wins by 20. And now you look at a game where over the last 2 years, it has been hard game after hard game after hard game for Angola in the postseason. And Northridge, not to take anything away from them, but you're going, man, this is a game that you look at and say Angola should win this reasonably comfortably and we haven't been able to say that in the playoffs the last 2 years.
That's the thing. I think, in the last couple of years, we thought maybe it was that senior class with Roddy and with all those guys that had taken it. These guys have really picked up the baton and run with it because, like you said, in the regular season with Angola's schedule in the NECC, sometimes we don't know exactly where they are in the landscape of 4A throughout the state. That to me is why that Culver win is so not only important, but shows a lot of people kind of what this Angola team's about.
And that's a testament to coaching, too, because there's no complacency with Angola. You could, in that second half of the year, just start going through the motions, and then it can be tough to then flip the switch and play your good football starting in week 10 again. But Andy Thomas has not allowed that to happen. That team has been zeroed in and focused each and every week, carried over into the postseason. Comfortable win last week. I expect the same this week. And then hopefully we get maybe East Noble Angola would be a great final for that sectional.
That would be a great one.